Not long ago, I made a video comparing Base Goku from the Buu Saga to full Power Frieza on Namek, and you all really seem to enjoy it. So continuing in that same spirit, I'm bringing Base Goku back to run the Dragon Ball Villain Gauntlet once again. And this time, we're putting him up against Super Perfect Cell to see who truly comes out on top. If you enjoy conversations like this and want to take part in deeper Dragon Ball discussions, I highly encourage you to join the Dragon Ball HQ Discord server. Check for the link in the YouTube bio. We'll be diving into this topic and more over there. If you'd like to support the channel or even help choose the next battle, consider becoming a channel member today. You can join the flock for just 99 cents a month. Now, without further delay, let's begin. To start things off, the answer to this discussion can vary depending on which version of the Dragon Ball story you're following, whether it's the anime or the manga. While I believe the conclusion remains largely the same regardless, the anime offers more detailed talking points that are worth examining. In the anime, the story picks up after the defeat of Cell. At this point, even a full-power Super Saiyan Goku was no match for Perfect Cell, let alone Super Perfect Cell. Following his death, Goku travels to Otherworld with King Kai in search of a martial arts master named Grand Kai, who was considered the highest-ranking deity in the series until the introduction of the Supreme Kai later on. During this journey, Goku encounters Paikuhan, a powerful fighter from the Southern Galaxy. It becomes evident early on that Paikuhan is Goku's strongest opponent since Cell. When they're sent to Hell to deal with an uprising, we see Paikuhan effortlessly defeat Frieza and King Cold, arguably even more efficiently than Trunks did. Immediately after, he takes down Super Perfect Cell in a single move. This version of Cell should be at least as powerful as the one who fought Gohan, if not even stronger. One reason for this assumption is the implication that having a dead body may actually enhance your power. Evidence of this can be found in Goku's battle with Kid Buu, where he struggles to maintain Super Saiyan 3 in his living body and mentions that it's easier to hold the form while dead. Additionally, before Paikuhan defeats Frieza, he asks how Goku became so strong after seeing him dispatch the Ginyu Force. This is ironic considering Frieza had first-hand experience of Super Saiyan Goku on Namek, whose power level far exceeded that of the Ginyu Force. Frieza even admitted during their battle that he didn't believe anyone could surpass Captain Ginyu. This odd reaction suggests two possibilities. Either being dead makes you stronger, or the Ginyu Force trained significantly in the afterlife, enough to surprise even Frieza. So it's very plausible that the Cell seen in Hell is stronger than he was during his fight with Gohan, because he has a dead body. Some argue that this isn't Super Perfect Cell because the lightning aura isn't visible, or that Cell may be suppressing himself, but those arguments don't hold much weight. The presence of lightning isn't a consistent indicator of Super Saiyan 2, especially in the anime, which has led to the confusion over moments like Gohan's battle with Dabura. More importantly, Cell doesn't transform in tears like a Super Saiyan. He has a single complete form rather than separated forms like Super Saiyan. Once he becomes Super Perfect Cell, that's simply his default state. He doesn't revert or power down from it. So there's no reason to believe he wasn't at full strength when Paikuhan defeated him. Supporting this, Goku watches the fight and remarks to think there would be someone as awesome as this, even with full knowledge of how powerful Cell is. Later, during the Otherworld tournament, Paikuhan faces a warrior named Olibu. While wearing his weighted clothing, Paikuhan still manages to defeat him, but not nearly as easily as he did Cell. And it's a ring out at that. Olibu actually holds his own and lands blows, resulting in a back and forth that Goku calls awesome, even saying that the two were moving so fast that he couldn't see them, something he never says about Paikuhan's speed during the Cell fight. This further suggests that Paikuhan took Olibu more seriously. When Goku eventually fights Paikuhan, he surprises him with strength, managing to push him back even while Paikuhan is still wearing his weighted gear. Paikuhan openly admits that he can't overpower Goku and is stunned by his strength. Goku responds that he is feeling mutual. He's also impressed by Paikuhan's power. Which is particularly interesting about this exchange is that Goku already knew Paikuhan had the ability to one-shot Super Perfect Cell. This implies that Goku in just his base state at this point has surpassed even the power level of Cell at his strongest. By the time of the Buu Saga, it's very likely that Goku had even surpassed an unweighted Paikuhan in his base form. One major piece of evidence for this comes from Goku's own statement that he was never able to perform fusion with anyone during his time in Otherworld, and this was because there was no one else who was close to his power. This strongly implies that Goku, even without transforming, was far beyond the likes of Paikuhan, who as previously shown was capable of effortlessly defeating Super Perfect Cell. And that's not the only indicator in the anime suggesting that Base Goku would easily outmatch Cell either. Another example occurs during the Buu Saga when Goku and Vegeta are absorbed by Buu. As they navigate through Buu's internal landscape, Goku encounters a shadowy version of Gohan. This shadow is stated to possess the same power as the original, which is Ultimate Gohan, a character significantly stronger than Super Buu, to the point where he was able to casually toss Buu around in battle. It's important to remember that Goku was initially reluctant to face Super Buu even with Super Saiyan 3 at his disposal, acknowledging how dangerous the opponent was. Despite this, Goku in his base form is able to engage in a brief skirmish with a shadow version of Ultimate Gohan. Although he's ultimately knocked down, Goku comments he's not Gohan, but he punches like him, suggesting that the power felt authentic. Immediately after, Goku powers up to Super Saiyan and swiftly knocks his shadow Gohan down, even more easily than he was knocked down moments earlier. This moment implies a few key things. First, while Ultimate Gohan is still stronger than Goku in base form, the gap between them isn't nearly as wide as it is between Gohan and Super Saiyan Goku. That Super Saiyan Goku can overpower a foe on par with Ultimate Gohan makes it extremely unlikely that base Goku would struggle against someone like Super Perfect Cell. After all, if Goku can briefly hold his own against Ultimate Gohan in base and decisively overpower him as a Super Saiyan, it would be inconsistent to assume he couldn't dominate Cell, especially considering how much weaker Cell is than Ultimate Gohan. So, based off these feats and statements, Goku in the anime in his base form should beat Cell pretty easily. When it comes to the manga, things play out quite a bit differently, however. Most of the events and feats I previously mentioned don't occur in the manga, so it's generally harder to argue that base Goku ever reaches Super Perfect Cell's level. That said, considering the massive power increases Super Saiyan tend to gain through training, it's likely that he could have closed the gap. However, there's no definitive scaling in the manga that directly confirms Goku in his base form alone reaches Cell level. Even so, there are some noteworthy points. During the Cell game, Super Saiyan Goku nearly destroyed Cell with the Warp Kamehameha, and Cell only survived due to plot convenience. At this point in the story, Goku would likely be able to finish him off for good. Another thing worth pointing out is that base Goku managed to catch Buu off guard and stop him from killing Gohan. Earlier on, Tien did something similar with his Tri-Beam attack, which is consistent, since Tri-Beam drastically multiplies the user's output. Tien was even able to hold back Semi-Perfect Cell with this move 7 years prior, despite being vastly outclassed in raw strength at the time. Aside from that, there's not much else to go on, at least nothing that comes right to mind. Though if base Goku were to use a full power Warp Kamehameha against Cell again, I'm pretty sure he would beat him. So just to recap, if we're strictly looking at the anime, it's hard to deny that base Goku from the Buu Saga has far surpassed Super Perfect Cell. The sheer number of implications, ranging from his interactions with Paikuhan to the Shadow Gohan encounter inside Buu, all point towards a version of Goku whose base form has eclipsed what was used to be some of the strongest threats in the series. When you factor in his training in Otherworld, his rapid Saiyan growth, and statements made directly by Goku himself, the narrative is pretty clear. This Goku is on a whole different level. Now, the manga is a bit more grounded. Without all the extra anime exclusive scenes, we don't get as much opportunities to scale base Goku directly to someone like Cell. Still though, Goku's near fatal Warp Kamehameha during the Cell games, along with how naturally Saiyans grow stronger through training, makes it plausible that Goku could close the gap, even if it's not directly shown. And moments like stopping Buu or referencing feats from characters like Tien suggest that Goku's base power isn't something to brush off, even in more reserved manga continuity. So where do you stand in all this? Is base Goku in the Buu Saga really stronger than Super Perfect Cell in your eyes, or do you think that's just an anime inflation at work? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to join the Dragon Ball HQ Discord server to take the conversation even deeper. And of course, if you want to help choose the next matchup in the Villain Gauntlet, you can become a channel member and join the flock for just 99 cents a month. Your support means everything. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.